Welcome to Navic TV!
Para sa ating trending balita ngayon.
Humarap nga kanina si Solicitor General Jose Calida sa joint hearing ng Committee on Legislative Franchise at Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. Dito ay inisa-isa niya ang mga diumanoy paglabag sa batas ng ABS CBN kaya hindi daw dapat irenew o mabigyan ng prangkisa ang naturang network. Di rin niya napigilang patamaan ang mga artista ng naturang stasyon, particularly si Coco Martin. Pakinggan natin ang kanyang pahayag.
The real issue with ABS CBN and its owners is not press freedom. It is money, politics, and power. How power is acquired, how it is abused and maintained, and most of all, how it obstructs the country's economic and democratic development. For the past few days, ever since ABS CBN supposedly went off the air, their stars and celebrities have taken to social media to rail against what they perceive to be oppression on the part of the government. In desperation, they would want to use their influence over the multitudes of fans to muddle the issue and drum up support for their network. One of the more prominent stars who spoke against the government is Coco Martin. He said in a social media post addressed to me that, and I quote, "Kapag ang pamilya ko kinanti, kahit sino ka pa, lalabanan ako ng patayan sa iyo, kahit patayin mo pa ako." Maraming salamat, Solicitor General Jose Calida, at sa bumubuo ng NTC sa kontribusyon ninyo sa ating bayan. Tinatarantado ninyo ang mga Pilipino. It appears that he is spoiling for a fight. He feels that he can solve their problems the same way as he solves them on screen with much of bluster and bravado. Allegedly, he has apologized for his tantrum. However, we cannot discount the fact that in his rage, Coco Martin's outburst showed a clear lack of understanding of the situation. His sarcasm is clear. Ipagdarasal ko na lumiwanag po sana ang inyong isipan at kung sino man po ang nagpuntos sa iyo, and hope. If I had not been the Solicitor General, I would have called his bluff and make him eat his words. For decades now, ABS CBN has been deceiving the Filipino people. Appropriately, Congress now seeks to revise the past of ABS CBN to determine if they are worthy of a legislative franchise. In view of its nature as a grant from the state, a legislative franchise is not a right that can be exercised at will and pleasure. Rather, it is a privilege subject to regulation under such condition as the government may see fit. Thus, in cases of misuse, non-use, or abuse of a franchise, the state ought to reassert its authority and rights as a grantor, regardless of the grantee's identity and influence. The time has come to expose ABS CBN, whose owners and corporate officers continue to deceive the Filipino people into believing that they are in the service of the Filipino. In truth, however, ABS CBN is motivated not by service, but by greed and desire for power and influence. Their brazen acts must come to an end. The hour of reckoning may have been delayed, but it has now come. As for ABS CBN, you may have committed too many violations which went unnoticed and unpunished, but we are determined to root out such illegal practices. I could hear now the voice of Frank Sinatra resonate, and now the end is near.
Reaction ko lang guys, natawa naman ako doon. The end is near. I-continue po natin siyang pakinggan sa kanyang pahayag.
Ito ay laban para lamang sa kung ano ang tama at naayon sa batas. Pinagbabawalan akong magsalita ukol sa kahit anumang bagay na may kinalaman sa mga petisyong nakahain ngayon sa Korte Suprema ng dalawang prinsipyong panglegal. These are the principle of non-encroachment, on the exclusive domain of judicial jurisdiction, and the other one is sub judice rule. I maintain this position, and thus I am not allowed to answer any questions involving matters pending before the Supreme Court. To reiterate, the OSG has made known to all that ABS CBN violated the Constitution and other pertinent laws. Number one, violated the nature and scope of its legislative franchise under RA 7966 when it allowed another entity, ABS Convergence, to make use and abuse the legislative franchise granted to ABS CBN Corporation. ABS CBN Convergence Inc. has no legal authority to broadcast under RA 8332. Number two, furthermore, under RA 7925, no single franchise shall authorize an entity to engage in both telecommunications and broadcasting, either through the airwaves or by cable. Thus, with its KBO offerings, ABS CBN Convergence not only violated its own legislative franchise, but also the Public Telecommunications Policy Act of the Philippines. Number three, based on the foregoing, it cannot be denied that ABS CBN Corporation in broadcasting contents in its KBO channel is likewise engaged in CATV service without the required permits, licenses, and/or authority to operate a CATV system. As already discussed in the petition, ABS CBN Corporation charges 30 pesos or 99 pesos from the viewing public to be able to watch the movies and other contents in the KBO channel. ABS CBN Corporation has aired movies, boxing shows, concerts, and other events in its KBO channel for a fee and without obtaining a prior approval from the NTC. These acts are evidently not covered by the legislative franchise granted by the state in favor of ABS Corporation. Number four, ABS CBN Corporation was not authorized to use free-to-air signals for its operations of the KBO channel. Quite tellingly, ABS CBN Corporation cannot produce a copy of the permit or document showing that it has been granted authority by the government, specifically the NTC, to operate a pay-per-view channel such as the KBO, despite having been previously ordered to desist from engaging in the pay-per-view services until the CAS guidelines has been issued. ABS CBN Corporation nevertheless continuously operates the KBO channel in derogation of its franchise, the NTC directive and order, and the DICT framework. Number five, the Philippine Depository Receipts, or PDRs, issued by the ABS CBN Holdings Corporation grants beneficial ownership over the underlying ABS CBN Corporation shares. ABS CBN's own statement admitted how the issuance of PDRs allow foreign entities to participate in a media company whose ownership is required to be 100% Filipino. To conclude, the ABS CBN PDR grants beneficial ownership to the PDR holders based on the rights conferred upon them, evidenced by the PDR instrument and PDR certificate submitted by ABS CBN. To countenance this practice is a looming threat to our sovereignty, which the constitutional safeguards aim to protect. Indeed, the ABS CBN PDR has provided for a creative mechanism to indirectly own the underlying ABS CBN shares of stock, but no matter how creative, the resulting end remains that enables non-Filipino to beneficially own a media conglomerate, the ABS CBN. I encourage you, honorable representatives of our people, to scrutinize every detail of the documents we have provided you. See for yourselves the facts as borne out by the documents rather than the falsehoods peddled by various groups whose interests are served by maintaining the unfair and unjust status quo.
Nadinig nga po natin ang pahayag ng ating Solicitor General. Ano po ang inyong masasabi dito? Just leave your comments below.
Thank you for watching and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.